Good morning, namaste, happy Easter to all. And so here is a greetings on this wonderful day of resurrection. As we find ourselves in the throes of time, yet also beyond time in the eternal now, ever beyond the limitations of this transient plane, walking amongst those ever caught up in the webs of their own makings, ever gratefully free by the hand of God, we are most fortunate of men to have been delivered by our devotion and love, by our search and sacrifice for truth. We have faced the death of self and rose to the life of divine awareness. Now where do we go? We go just where we are. We remain just who we are, open ever to the moving hand of the universal consciousness which guides and directs our paths, resting in that ever-present divine love, the bliss which unfolds when we let go of all our limited desires. Christ manifests each day beyond the mind of limitations. The words and the mind of Christ come when we are the stillness. O blessed life, O blessed death, where is your sting? In death is resurrection, and all dies to be reborn within this transient plane. People, ideations, ideals, plans, etc., all go through the cycles of birth, growth, maturity, death, and rebirth, again and again, ever progressing forward. We are fortunate to be able to share that ever-present truth with those that divine providence puts in our path. It matters not whether I speak in terms of Advaita or in the terms of the Christian mystic. It matters not whether I speak in the pregnant void of the Buddhist. Truth remains truth, crossing all men's boundaries, all man's divisionary dogmatic undertakings. We move as God directs, ever in joyous union with that divine being beyond individualized personality of man's illusions. It is sad to see Christ limited to a religious persuasion, stuffed into a neat little package of do's and don'ts, a religious icon, and pushed into a dogmatic corner. To go from being the rebellious son of mankind that spoke out against the church persuasions and dogmas of man with the pure truth of liberation for mankind, to now be so misunderstood, to be pushed into the very corner that he spoke out so vehemently against. This is a sad state of affairs. So may we, my dear heart, walk as a testimony to the liberation found within. The kingdom of heaven prevails. May we move in that kingdom on earth as it is. So love and blessings on this Easter morning. Since it's Easter morning, it's a good time to take a quick look at Christ and his message. What did he speak? Love, to love one another. If one is truly coming from the heart, there will be no law against him. Love binds wounds, it doesn't create them. Love is not mocking, arrogant, or unkind. Love gives of itself without thought of reward. If I speak with the tongue of angels and have not love, I am as a sounding brass. So a good indicator is, does it come from compassion and grace or not? It is here now. He didn't speak of a far-off heaven. He said heaven is at hand. Heaven and hell are states of mind, not places in the universe, although like minds will congregate together on the other side, which indeed would translate to a heaven or hell or purgatory. 3. There is no death. He came to say and show that death is an illusion. 4. If you want to get out of suffering, then go and sin no more. Sin was an activity of body and mind. If you want out of the mire, then don't chase it. He said basically go and sin no more. In other words, drop it and walk away. Number 5, he hung out with the suffering. Why? He said the well have no need of a physician. Why? The ones who are ill are usually the ones ready to seek those that think they already have it, and they hear nothing but remain caught in their desires and pain. Not willing to give up anything, they gather, then cling to the gathering. It creates a want for more, and the cycle is endless. Always trying to fill a hole only creates a deeper hole. Self-inquiry can show the fallacy of the hole until only a hole remains. W-H-O-L-E instead of an H-O-L-E. Okay. Number 6, he showed a life of living truth and ethics with compassion. Number 7, he said, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father that sent me. In other words, I am the embodiment of that perfection. Love, compassion, honesty, ethics. But make no mistake, his words were not always honeyed. Although honest, they were not brutal, but on occasions could cut right to the core and heart of it just as it was. Number 8, let the dead bury the dead. Now what was that about? Those that are caught in their life will hear nothing. It is useless, basically. He said, don't go back to a useless situation of being caught. You come with me. There is a way out, but only if you have ears to hear, and eyes to see. His message was that of liberation now, not in some far-off time. It was of love and surrender. It was of life, truth, compassion. He said, what I am, you are. What I have done, you can do. Anyone can come to God directly, as there's no separation. This was clear with also the statement of I and the Father are one. Self-realization is this one. Death leads to resurrection. It cannot be reborn from matter to spirit unless it first dies. In other words, completed man would be born of water and spirit. Self-realization is to be done while in the flesh. Death comes and rebirth to liberation, and one remains whole, W-H-O-L-E, not whole, H-O-L-E. Blessed Easter to all. Okay, these are simply basics and not word for word, but simply to get an overall feel. It's simply to refresh the feeling of the message he was attempting to share, as it's just as valid today as it was then. So I hope you've enjoyed this little Easter rendering, okay? Have a wonderful, blessed day, and may all continue to move forward in their journey to realization. Namaste. Happy Easter.